thank you guys. They also make TBL sauce, which I forgot to bring my juice back with me. I'm coming back. Okay, so yeah, they make this wonderful TBL sauce, which right now my personal favorite is, it's hard to say. I love the blueberry yogurt, and I got to try just a little bit of the OG, which is that guava, and I actually like it, so I'm ordering 120 mil, which is on sale for $20. So head over and get you some. This is Boss Sauce, uh, from the makers of that Vapor Lounge 760. Also, I want to thank TGR Vapor, tgrvapor.com, for their love and support. This is snake venom, which I've just about killed off. And of course, I want to thank Cloud Chemistry Vapor, cloudchemistryvapor.com. Thank you for the love and support that you show us on a weekly basis as well. So how are you folks? I know she told me, Cheryl, you're in the room, so I want to say hi. So I've been dying to rebuild this Colt all day, and I've had a lot of questions posed to me about how I do my parallel builds, and this build's been in for a week, so it's pretty dirty. Cotton still looks nice and white though, which is very, very nice. From Native Woods Cotton Platinum Blend. I absolutely love that cotton. It is the best. I'm going to do a test on live on camera for you guys with their cotton. But if you can tell, the parallel build is a little dirty. You can't really see it that well. I'm going to show you how I wrap them so tight. And then I'll be using my Black and Copper TBL Colt 45 with the VCM X1 tank, which is a little dry, but it's got 24 gauge fused, 36 gauge, Bode Micron 90 Claptons inside of it, wrapped on a 2.5 millimeter bit, and yeah, good stuff. So let's hear it. What are you guys vaping on tonight, or this afternoon? Are you vaping a device and juice wise? I always enjoy hearing what you guys are vaping on. While you do that, and let us know that, I am going to get some water so I can show you how to do these parallels. This is not cool. This is not cool.
Limeade $7.
What's that?
Oh, you're going around. You're going around.
Give it a second to catch up. Can you still hear me? So I search for wire. Hopefully you can still hear me. You guys ain't missing nothing. I'm just looking for my wire. Engage microphone.
Honey?
Yes.
Crap, somebody was here.
Well, we're closed.
Is the light still on?
Nope.
Might want to check it.
Well, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's not on. Has it unspun yet? it's off. Has it unspun? Okay, so we're back now?
Well, we can hear you, we just can't see you.
I just asked you if it was unspun. No, it's still spinning. Ustream, you kill me. So we'll just refresh it. Maybe it will fix it. Ustream, come on. I don't understand because the internet's not being used by that many. Just me and you. Okay, so we should be back. Guys. Alright, so Ustream's being a pain in the rear end. So, I will show you my trick. Once I get it updated on what everybody's vaping on this afternoon. So I do want to let you guys know, be aware, if there's anybody in the room that does not already follow me, _Punisher_TBL. I am very close, if not over, surpassed 2,000 followers, and so at 2,000 followers, we're going to do a giveaway. I can't reveal the details of the giveaway yet, but we will be doing a giveaway. So guys, if you're watching and you've not registered and joined us in chat, it may be a little difficult for you guys. Okay, so I had to go find my 22 gauge Nichrome 80. And I've been testing this 4-wrap parallel build out, and it's a decent build, but I strive for the maximum amount of cloud possible in density, and I find that 5-wrap seems to work a little bit better for me. So we're going to do 5-wrap, and I'm going to do it on a 4mm bit. Okay, so for the first part of the parallels, and I want to show you not only the parallel build, but I want to show you how I parallel my Claptons as well, which is pretty interesting. Pause for the station identification. Actually, I want to show you guys some battery safety 101. I was going to re-wrap some batteries and charge them for someone, and once I peeled the wrapper off, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to throw these away or recycle them. If you peel your batteries off and they start to rust, like these right here, do not use them. Alright, just to show you guys, don't, and if you rewrap batteries and they look like this, don't rewrap them. Alright guys, it's not worth becoming a statistic. Alright, so pay attention to what your batteries look like. It's very important. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take the top off this and remove the battery. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this battery on charge so it will charge while I'm doing this for you guys. And I'm going to reinsert or screw the top back on and pull the cap off. And I am using the same mod. And all I want to do, since I'm not going to clean these because it's just Kanthal, and I have plenty of Kanthal, I'm just going to chuck these coils out. So I'm going to unscrew the post leads. As you can see me doing, I'll move the camera down here in a second for you guys. And I'm going to take some pliers and pull them out the wrong way. They're pretty well used up. Now, you may not always have a vise readily available for you guys. So You know, note that ahead of time if you have a vise at home and you want to pre-roll something so you'll have some on you and you don't have to worry about rolling while you're out and about. That's a great way to do it. But this is the best way I found to roll parallels and keep them nice and tight together. So you'll need some wire, which I'm going to, as I showed you, 22 gauge Nichrome 80. Pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, some scissors to cut the cotton, some wire cutters, and I always have a second pair of needle nose just to have around me. I also have the Fullmaster 4.0 jig in there with a little piece that you put on the end to wrap the poles, which you'll need for the first set to do the first part. And then I got a Phillips head screwdriver for the atomizer. And I gotta go get my cotton. Brought my goodie bag back with me, so I have it on me. And then, as of course, Native Wicks Platinum blend cotton. So, and then of course, you need a handy dandy vise. This little piece right here. Okay? So now that we got that straightened out, we know what we gotta have. I'm gonna work on my limited space here. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut 4 pieces of wire. Let me try to zoom back out because it's hard to see like that. Alright. The first piece I usually cut a little bit long because I can never get the kink out of it. And we're just going to do 5 wraps so it doesn't have to be super long. And you can do this with Kampfol, Nichrome 80, doesn't really matter. Usually with new users or new people, I usually try to guide them toward Kampfol. Because people, you know, Nichrome 80 is fairly easy to work with. If you can work with Kampfol, you can work with Nichrome. It's softer. Alright, as soon as I find that, I'm going to secure that hole, put it to the side because we no longer need it. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take my jig and I'm going to put it in the upper hole. And all I want to do is roll. You need to cut that bent piece off. That's going to be a problem. I see that already. Alright, and all I want to do is simply take the jig and I'm going to roll it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to take it and almost drop it. And I'm going to put it back on and I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to straighten this leg out a little bit before I cut it down in size. Actually, I ain't going to cut it down in size yet, but you can sort of see this is what we're left with. Perfectly 5 wrap, 22 gauge. Now, here's the tricky part. I'm going to take the other piece and try to aim this camera so you guys can see. And I'm going to put it in the very edge of my vise and I'm going to tighten it down. Now I'm going to point I'm trying to do this upside down, guys, bear with me. I'm going to just take my fingers and straighten the wire out up some. Okay? And then I'm going to take my needle nose pliers And on these, I will put the wire, try to show this to you over here a little bit closer to the camera so you can see what I'm doing over there. Here we go. As soon as I can find it. I'm going to place the wire that's coming out of the vise on top or on the inside of that first leg. So this is really hard to do. You know why people have news cameras on, alright? Alright, so all I'm going to do is, this is the piece coming out of the vise. I'm going to place it on the inside of the first leg. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Okay, now I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to grab the top of this wire coming out of the vise, and I'm just going to put a little pressure on it and wrap it around, and you sort of just go with the flow as it's going to guide you around. So that's 3, 4, and then you stop after you get, well, you break the wire like that is here. Okay, just grab and you stop on the outside of the second leg. And then I usually just pull up on the jig to tighten up the wraps. And then after you're done, you'll have something that looks similar to this. So, and then it's just a matter of getting your pliers and straightening the two leads together. Okay, and then what I do is I'm going to cut the access off the leg, just cut them down a little bit. Flip it over to the other side, do the same. Alright. And then I'll just take my needle nose pliers. Actually, I'm going to use these, okay, because they got a nice flat edge on the end. And I'll grab the outside wire and I'll just put a little bit of an L shape in there. That way it feeds through your atomizer a little bit easier. And after you're done, you'll have, man, this sucks when you're trying to do this upside down. And then you'll have a little L shape there, and then both leads should be fairly close. And then they should end up fairly tight together. Like I said, you can take your pliers and tug on each lead to tighten them up a little bit more. But that's pretty daggone close. Okay, so that's one. So to repeat the process, I'm going to take my third wire, put it through the top hole of the jig, and I'm just going to spin it 5 times. Pull it out, flip it over, take my pliers, straighten that leg out. Then I'm going to take the fourth wire, put it in the corner of the vise, tighten it down. Place that wire on the inside of the first leg, grab a hold of the end, and you're just going to start working your way around. And it should press right in the groove where it needs to be. You just want to count it 5 times, and you will end up on the outside of the second leg. And then I'll just take and I'll tug on each lead down just to make sure that each and every one is tight. And I'm going to snip the access out of my way so I can work with it a little bit better. And then I'm just going to take my pliers and I'm going to grab the 2 outside and just making an L shape right there. And then here is the second set. The second set turned out a little bit nicer than the first set, but you get the idea. It's workable, but it keeps your parallels nice and tight together versus trying to do it freehand. So before comp or anything, and I know I'm going to run 22 gauge parallel as I normally would, and I don't have to build it at the comp, I'll go ahead and pre-make and pre-roll. Make sure the squad has enough sets to go on, and that way I don't have to worry about having to take a vise around. Alright, so now we're going to install these batteries. Okay, so much like last week, last week I showed you guys how to do the clappings and everything. Not much difference here. I'm going to use the first set I rolled here. And tug on one on here. Tighten it up. Tug on that outside there. Alright. So installing them and stuff ain't really that much difference. Make sure there's no battery in the mod, which you saw me take out. I put the L-shaped bend in the center post, or no, on the outside of the post, and I put the straight end into the center post. And sometimes this can be challenging. I didn't quite cut it short enough on that second lead. Hold on. Put this down just a tad bit. Okay. Second wire wants to stick outside that post. There we go. Alright, and again, I want some room to push this over once I get it in there secure. As soon as I find the center, there we go. And so what I'll do is I'll leave some space in between the coil and the center, or the post. And I'll hold my thumb there, and then I'll take the screwdriver and just tighten down the leads. Once I know I got the leads secured, I will pull one out toward me to sort of tighten up any slack I may have. Then I'll pull them up just a tad and make sure they're not on the breather holes. And then I'll just push them over. And with Nichrome, it's really easy. And it won't be perfectly centered, but it shall be pretty close. And then I'm going to double check the screws and make sure they're still tight. Okay. And once I have it in there, I'll just take my wire cutters and I'll snip the ends. And on these, I will go ahead and preheat. Yes.
Somebody said hello, Robin Mama.
Hello.
Honey.
Howdy, howdy. Alright, so I'm going to stick my battery in there so I can preheat this first side and get them to heat fairly evenly. So I am installing the battery back into the mod. And another piece of tool equipment you may need is the ceramic tweezers. And again, small, quick pulses.
Hokey Babe's in there and Christian's in there.
Hello, Christian and Hokey Babe. Christian is my sidekick and beta tester when it comes to these weird builds. You can see the Nichrome start to turn colors already. Okay, so just quick, short pulses. And then as it cools off a little bit, just take the tweezers and squeeze them together. You shouldn't have to scrape the Nichrome. It should be fairly close. And all you really should need is just a little bit of pressure on them to get them to heat. So, that's what she looks like. Now, time to let it cool off before I start the other side, because I'm not burning my finger. Alright, so I will, once I got that side heating evenly, I'll go ahead and pop the battery out. And you'll drop your RDA like I just did. And you'll throw your top back on here. I'm having one of those days today where I want to drop everything. So,
Pokey wants to know, what do you recommend for the indestructible?
Indestructible. I'm a big fan of 24 gauge and 22 gauge, so, you know, to keep your ohms up, a nice 10 rack 24 gauge. The trick to the indestructible is you have to roll them backwards. So as I'll try to show you on camera, this is my jig. I normally would roll clockwise for your standard RDA. For the indestructible or the theorem, you have to roll it backwards. And that's so as you can get the legs to compensate for the positive post where it rises from the negative post. So that's the trick, roll them backwards. Alright, that's cooled off, so I'm going to slide my jig back in there. And I'm going to take this set of coils out. Okay, so this set of coils out, I'm going to slide them off on the vise. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side.
Is that okay? Thank you.
Not a problem. Alright, again, leave some space there in between the post and the coil. And then go ahead and tighten them down. Alright. Once you got them snug, you just pull on out towards you a little bit, take up the slack, raise up the coils just a touch, and push up. So you should end up with something similar to the first side. Then I'm going to snip the ends into a trash can preferably, because I have a tendency to walk around the shop barefooted. There we go. Double check your screws after you push them over, because sometimes it does have a tendency to work itself loose. Maybe one's a little loose, and then again, I'm going to install the battery again. And we're going to heat them up just like we did the first, with small short pulses. And with the gentle squeeze every now and then in between. See, if you guys stay in touch here and join us again next week, I'm thinking about showing you guys how to braid wire. Sometimes it just takes a little finesse in here and talking nice to your coils. You shouldn't have to take them out to dinner. You're going to do what you need them to do. There we go. So you should end up with something similar to this. And you want to make sure they eat from the inside out. Alright. So, we're going to let that cool off. And I'm going to reinstall the first set that we heated up. And so you shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to heat them both up evenly. If you do it that way, you spend less time and wear and tear on your battery if you do it separately. They should be fairly pretty close. Otherwise. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions. While that's cooling off, I want to show you a guy. This is a fuse clapping I've done that ended up in my junkyard for some reason. Alright, the same way that you do your parallel by putting your strand into the vise, tightening it down and wrapping, you would actually be wrapping counterclockwise on standard Kanthal or Nichrome just for your standard wrap. It's a little different with your claptons, your fuse claptons. Instead of wrapping counterclockwise with these, you're going to wrap clockwise. So remember that. It'll save you a lot of heartache and trouble if you do that. You'll simply take your fuse clapton or clapton wire and you're going to put it on your screwdriver or your jig, and you're going to put your strand of 22 or 24 gauge in your vise and you're going to wrap it clockwise. So you're going to start in front and you go around this way. And that's how you do the fuse clapton. I don't know why it's different, but if you try to do it the other way, you'll end up with the wire crossing over the back side of your clapton. Alright, so now that this is cooled off, I'm going to install the first set of parallels. Sometimes this part takes longer than the actual build, depending on how your RDA wants to act toward you. And once you install them in there, you just tighten your leads back down. Always double check your screws and make sure they're nice and tight. And then you may have to finagle this one a little bit to get it where you want it, because you want the look to make sure they're fairly even up and down and left to right. So you should end up with something that looks close to this. Man, I hate working this camera upside down. They're pretty low. So now I'm going to install the battery again. And we're going to make sure they both heat evenly. Also, check your batteries and make sure there's no tears or nicks in it. If it is, please re-wrap. And if you can't re-wrap them, find someone who can. If you're near me, I'll re-wrap. So small short pulses. Squeeze. Until you get them both to heat from the inside out and evenly. So you should end up with something similar to this. And then after you do it, also go back again and check those leads, because sometimes they have a tendency to work their way loose. And then I'll go at it again. There we go. Now to the wicking stage. We'll let these cool off, obviously, before we wick. And normally, as always, double check your ohms. Alright guys, normally I run 5-rack parallel 22 gauge, usually runs me around 0.1. one beautiful piece, and I'm going to use the Native Wicks Platinum Blend Cotton, which I highly recommend. There's no break-in period. You can get a dry hit, juice it up, and keep going. You won't get nasty burnt cotton taste. And I'll cook this off evenly. So I have enough on both sides. Hopefully it won't be too small. So how about the new fellers in here, Hokey and Christian? What are you guys vaping on? The Bison Juice. Pack since blueberry yogurt cake. I'm gonna rock some of that. I don't know if I want to rock that or ball sauce. I think we want to do ball sauce. Sorry guys, I can't see chat, so be patient with me. Still a little warm. I want to heat them up. While it's cooling off real quick, I'm going to give me a drink of soda. Before we go face to face time out. Then you always got to ram your knee into the desk you're working with. That's for good luck. Alright, it's fairly cool, so we'll go ahead and wick it. So I just broke off a piece of this Native Wicks. I'm going to twist the end of it here. Sometimes you have to wick it before you stick it. And I only do that to my own personal mods. I don't do that for my customers. And I'll get it through about halfway, and then I'll move on to the second piece of it. This one's going to be a little bit thicker. I need to trim this off just a bit. That should be fairly close. Twist the end of it. Just gently pull it through. This Native Wicks Platinum Blend is on. Alright, and then we're going to take our handy dandy scissors. I usually just put them up against the mod itself and snip. Go up against this mod on this side and snip. Throw the excess away. Seal this up, it looks like gold to me. And I'll just take my tweezers, grab it, and tuck. Move it away from the air holes. Breathing is very necessary for a build this one. And move it away from here. once you get it all tucked, double check to make sure your air holes are not covered up. And we are good to go. So, I'm going to show you guys how I prime my stuff here. Put some of these tools up out of the way. How's the weather been in your areas? Because it's been rainy and nasty all week. It's been quite boring as far as weather-wise. And I will be back on chat in here in just a moment. I'll show you guys how I prime my coils. So like I said, guys, for y'all tuning in that just joined us, once I hit 2,000 followers on Instagram, which I may have already done, I will be doing a giveaway as a thank you to you guys. So stay tuned for that. Okay? Alright, so to prime, usually what I'll do is I'll go around the cotton first, and I will just start juicing up the cotton. Hopefully you see how well this stuff wicks. It's amazing how quick it is. And I'll leave the coils bare for a moment, and you'll see why. Because once I get around and get all the cotton juiced real well, then I'll pay attention to the coils itself. And with this type of style of juice bottle, it's very challenging to get without making a big mess. Alright, and then when I get to the coals, I'll just put some on it and then quickly push the button. And you're going to see the juice soak into the coal, and that's what you want to do, is you want to do that to get the juice into the center of that cotton that you just put in there. So do that a couple times, and I'll put some back on the cotton itself. Then I'll give it a couple test fires, and I'll go back and put some more on it. Some people complain because I waste juice doing this, but I guarantee I don't ever get a dry heel. Once you
Said you're one follower away.
One away. One away. And then once you do that, we'll go back to Facey time, and you go big clown. Go wipe the excess off because I overjuiced it just a tad. And you put some more back on it. And that, fam, is how I do the parallels. Like I said, if I need to make some up for my personal stash that I carry with me, but it's not logical for me to take a vise with me everywhere I go, so I can roll the perfect parallels. But if you have a vise at home, that is the nicest and easiest way that I know to do it. Roll you some sets, and as long as you don't go to a comp where they make you build there, you're set. You're good to go. So we're going to head over to the computer so I can watch chat, and we're going to finish the show. Hang out with me for a second, guys, as we go this way. Everybody say hi to Tanya.
Hi.
We're going to do the show here. All right, so questions, comments, concerns. We're in Facey time now. So any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free as I switch over to. Alright. I think I should be set right here. Let me wait for it to catch up and get over here in the chat part. Nope, don't work at TGR. I just hang out with, here at the shop, Bill Coles, research and development. I do, I try to answer questions, help people, customers that come in, that kind of thing. So advocate, fam. Make sure you guys are still advocating. It's been fairly quiet on the advocating stage here recently. It's starting to die down some, I believe. So make sure you guys are still. No, this is Mayberry Vapes. This is the vape shop.
I just lost it.
Great job, Hokey, definitely. Calling senators, representatives, all that good stuff. And, that is definitely a plus. You want to keep doing that. Emails, I send out the email daily, try to when I can. So that's a plus as well. Phone calls is definitely probably the best way because you're able to actually talk to someone live versus sending them email. You don't know if they read the email or not, but the phone calls is definitely a plus. You have to be patient with the video feed because the internet wants to fade in and out because it's raining. It's weird. It rains and the internet does this stuff. It's crazy. Crazy. So, the advocate, I ain't really seen, there's a lot of rumors and stuff floating around as far as what's supposed to happen, what's already happened. I know for a fact that, there's a lot of rumors floating around as far as what's going to happen with the juice companies and stuff like that, and what they have to abide by. So I've not gotten anything that's set in stone yet. I know Tony himself actually called the FDA office, and of course, you get the standard "I don't know" from them. So. So you guys are awful chatty. Talk to me. I will show you Kanger's new invention. So while y'all are chatty, I'll be right back. It's a vaping show, Hokey. We talk about vaping.
I have lost everything again. Refreshing.
I'm actually going to show you guys something else too while I'm waiting for the light to refresh here. I was telling you guys how good this Native Wicks is. And people ask me sometimes, well, what do you do when you want to switch flavors? You have to change cotton because, the Native Wicks is, I think, let's see, $8 and some change plus shipping. I got these 2 bags from My Freedom Smokes. So, it is a little pricey compared to like your cotton bacon or Japanese organic. And having to switch cotton out, it can get a little pricey when you want to change flavors. So I had Boss Sauce, which is strawberry custard on here. So what I'm going to do is I sit here, I'm going to go ahead and vape it until I can get the cotton fairly dried out. No, we didn't make it to the tattoo and vaping shop in Christiansburg. I did hear, though, that one opened up. The cotton's still fairly wet. It holds a lot of juice too, especially since I rolled it on a 4mm diameter. There's a lot of, it holds a lot of juice, so. And as you vape it and you're trying to dry it out a little bit, you'll be able to tell when it starts to get dry because the flavor will diminish. So as the flavor diminishes, you're getting close. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell much of a difference. It's a little wider now than it was. Probably got another vape or 2 on it here. Yeah, 3.5 is a good one. Depending on what I'm wanting, I'll wrap anywhere from a 2 to a 4. If I'm wanting to try to get the most out of my own so it's safe to use on a mechanical mod and I'm wanting a comp build, I'll often roll it on a parallel build on a 4mm wrap so it gives me that little bit extra space and I can wick and juice it up and I can get probably 10 to 15 drags off of it before I have to go and re-drip it. The 2mm bit or 2.5, I'll usually use on my standard like 20 gauge 5 wrap builds for comps, just to try to get the most out of my ohms reading and knowing that I'm going to rejuice in between rounds and stuff. So definitely depending on what you're using or what your purpose is, definitely work with your diameter of what you're rolling on. And usually with when I was using the Japanese cotton, I would do the what is it called, the Scottish roll, to make the cotton stay fluffy. But with this Native Wicks, I don't have to worry about that. It stays fluffy. The build that was in here for a solid week, which is a record for my Kanthal builds. And the cotton was still usable. It was still good. So I dried out the cotton for the most part by just vaping on it. And I'm going to actually switch flavors altogether. The boss sauce is a strawberry custard. I'm going to switch to a Total Eclipse, which is a melon blend with a hint of ice. So I'm going to switch flavors. I mean, totally out of the custard arena to this. And I will guarantee that you will not get any of that strawberry custard in there, because that would taste pretty nasty. Strawberry custard and melons. So I'll do this the same way. I'll just put some juice on the cotton, heat up the center ones, put some juice down there so it gets to the center. And then there we go. No custard at all. I can't even taste the strawberry custard in it no more. So if you want to switch flavors, you do not have to take the cotton out and re-wick. Simply dry it out, whether by vaping it or burning it off and blowing it, and then just put your new flavor on just like you would when you prime it, and you're good to go. Cotton bacon, you can do that too, to a degree, but after about 2 or 3 days use, it gets to where it doesn't really hold that much juice, so you have to change it out. With the native wicks, like I said, I can go a week on the same one, changing different flavors. I mean, from one end of the spectrum to your custards and cream to your fruits and dessert flavors, and not have any issues whatsoever. Alright, so I'll jump over here to this. Kanger come out with this drip box a while back, and this is the white version. It comes in, I've seen white, red, and black, and they just recently came out with a 160 watt drip box, which is pretty cool. Honestly, I'm going to not lie and say that when this come into the shop, I thought it was going to be an issue, a problem, but we've sold 3, 4, 5 of them, and none of them's come back with any issues whatsoever. And the guys that use them love it. So keep it in mind if you're using a tank and you want to get into dripping. This may be an inexpensive way to do it. To try it out to see if it's something that you're going to like and enjoy. I know when I first started out, I started on RDA. I tried several tanks, and I just couldn't get the flavor I wanted from a tank. So I went back to dripping, so I drip full time now. The wife uses my tanks, and that's what she enjoys using, unless she's using her TVL mod. So basically, let me point the camera down just a tad for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so what we got here is just your standard box mod. There's no LED display because this is the 60 watt version. If you get the 160 watt version, you'll have a display plus an wattage control button on it. So keep that in mind. This is only the 60 watt version. When you get the box, take it apart here for you guys. You'll see the contents. You'll get a instruction manual. There'll be a charging cord, a spare set of coils with cotton already in it, a spare plastic tube for juice, and as always, Kanger sends the extra screws, a couple extra bare coils, screwdriver, and some extra cotton. Okay, that comes in your standard drip box kit. And if I can keep from dropping everything, You also have these nice little nifty black stickers it comes with, and the stickers are for your batteries. If you want to make everything matchy, you'll notice the air holes right here. If you put in a green battery, it's going to show green, but you can use the black sticker to put on that one end of the battery, so when you put your battery in, it stays black, and you keep that profile, the white on the black. If you pop the top off the atomizer, it's got 3 O-rings on it. It comes with, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 wrap. I'm going to say 26 gauge. It's already got your cotton in it, your screws for your post holes, okay? And you got your 2 air holes for your breathing capabilities on your RDA and a wide chuff cap. All right, that's the top of it. All right, on the bottom, you'll have a twist cap with a little lip on it, so which is nice because the knee boxes you had to use a coin to open up the battery box. And it's adjustable. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to take this apart so I can show you guys. Alright, so your button comes off in 2 different sections. You'll have the spinner, which sits on top, and all that does is adjust your battery rattle. You take the full cap off and you put your battery in there. So you put the whole cap back on. And then once you get your battery cap tightened down, you shake it, and if you have any battery rattle, you just take and twist the spinner inside of that battery cap, and it'll tighten up to where it takes the battery rattle out of your box. Now the next panel is magnetic. Comes off, it's got 2 small magnets in there, and you just squeeze the bottle a little bit and give it a pull. And you'll notice there's a stem in there as well, and you'll just take that off, and then here comes the bottle. So the idea that Kanger came up with was fill up your juice in this little squeeze bottle, and then you just insert it back over top of the sleeve, and you push everything up until it's flush. Then you can take your magnetic battery cover or bottle cover, stick it back on. 5 clicks, cut it on, 5 clicks, cut it off. There's no voltage, so you're going to get 60 watts every time you hit this button. And then, of course, as your battery drains, it controls itself. Alright, so it's got a pass-through charger, so if you choose to charge it, you can charge it just like you do your cell phone, or you can pop the battery out and put it on a normal charger. So when you first fill up your juice bottle, the idea is you'll gently squeeze the button, and the stem inside feeds the juice up into the bottom of the coils. So as you squeeze, you keep squeezing until the juice comes up and fills that well, and then as it fills that well, it's going to soak your cotton in your coils. So once you get it nice and wet, you just put your cap back on and go to vaping. As you tell that the wick gets dry, squeeze your bottle, put juice in there, and you can vape on it. So that is the Kanger drip box. Like I said, honestly, I thought it was going to be a big issue when they first come out. But honestly, we've had more issues from the Council of Vapor Mini Volt than we have with these drip boxes. So, yep, the Squonker. Yeah, the Squonker. That's the name for it, the Squonker. Thank you. So yeah, it's a nifty little device, and like I said, I've never we've, knock on wood, we've never had any issues with any of them coming back. And then to clean it, you can always take your atomizer off. If you have another atomizer you'd rather run on it and just drip yourself, you have the opportunity to do so. So, and then like I said, they come out with the 160 watt version, so I'm curious on how that's going to work, but how it'll hold up. But honestly, I think the retail here is like $50 some, and you can try dripping out. It's inexpensive, and if it's something that you like, that you want to do, hey, I'm going to go away from the tanks, this is definitely a way to get started. How you doing, D Vaping? Like I said, next week, guys, if you join in and join us, thinking about doing maybe an RTA build for you guys. How to do like if you have a Griffin or a Gemini. I have the Gemini and I have the VCM tank that I could show you guys on how to build that. Or if you're interested in the vertebrae and braiding wire, we can do that as well. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram already, it's ohm_punisher_tvl. Once we hit 2,000, we're going to do a giveaway. So stay tuned for that as well. I hear you, D Vaping. That's us. We're just hanging out. Had a pretty good, decent day at the shop today. And I wanted to show you guys how I done my parallel builds and how I kept the wire fairly tight together. And showed you how to dry out your cotton and switch flavors to a totally different flavor with that native wicks. And show off these TVL Colt 45s. I'm going to go stick this back in the display case real quick. So. So, probably, guys, next week I'm going to have, sort of give you a heads up. We're going to, I'll have a Sub-Ohm Innovation RDA I want to show you guys, sort of give you a brief ins and outs of that RDA. I'm going to. I've messed with it before. I've never owned one until next week. So hopefully next Sunday I'll have it for you and show you the ins and outs. It's very unique in the aspect of how you wick it compared to the Kennedy RDA or any RDA for that matter. I've got to vape on it, and I got to say with the airflow and the design of it, it is definitely a RDA I want you guys to see, and I'm going to build it for you, and that way you'll have more of a range of options. Right now, I got to say my preferred RDA right now has got to be the Kennedy. The VCM, which I have on this one, the VCM X1, I like the design in it, the deep juice wells. I just wish the air holes was just a tad bit bigger, so it would breathe a little bit better. But overall, right now, I'm a big fan of the Kennedy compared to some of the other ones that I've used before. Also, the new Freak Shows coming out, which I'm going to get one eventually because Freak Show was one of my first RDAs. It was the first RDA I ever bought. And the Wismic has come out with a mini Relo, is what we call it, 75 watt device that runs one battery. It comes with a tank, all in one. And then, of course, the new RX200S with the bigger display. So we'll probably talk about that next week as well for you box guys. So we'll try to catch up with all the new devices that's going to be coming out due to this FDA bullcrap. I'll try to catch up on everything and share with what I know about it. I know the Freak Show, the new Freak Show, which you can get on Instagram and look up Whatofo, and they'll have a picture of it on their Instagram page. I like the design. It's got 7mm post holes, velocity style deck, plenty of breathing options. Definitely something to check out if you're looking for a good inexpensive RDA. Only reason I don't have my Troll anymore is because I wore it out so much that the screws stripped in the top. And then the RX, well, I can't really call it an RX, the Wismic 75 watt device. It's a decent looking device. Probably not something I would buy unless the wife wanted it. But I tried using my box mods this past week, and I'm stuck on my Colts. I love my mechanical mods. I can't switch back. So guys, if there are any questions, comments, concerns, like I said again, I want to thank y'all for hanging out with us for this past hour. It's a little hectic here at the end of the day up here, but we got back on here. No questions, comments? Y'all are just way too easy of viewers. All right, guys. Well, before I end the show, we're going to end it a little early today because we're going to go celebrate Mother's Day with the wife and probably grab a bite to eat. Stay tuned to us again for the giveaway. If the wife would be so kind to put up our Instagram names to give us a follow. I also want to take the time again to thank Mayberry Vapes for allowing us to use the shop to do our broadcast in and to review some of these devices. If you're in the area, definitely come down, give them a check out, see what they got, see how we can help you. I want to thank the Vape Lounge 760.com for their love and support that they show us. I know they're in the Vape Expo up in Vegas this week. They just unveiled the Red Dragon TVL Colt, a beautiful looking mod, just gorgeous. I love it. So they unveiled that, and they're up there this week. So go give their website a check out, look-see, and see if there's anything you like on there. If you do order from them, just put in the comment section that the Ohm Punishers led you to them. Check out their mods, and like I said, right now they still have the 120 mils for $20. Take advantage of it because I'm not sure how much longer that's going to last. If you have a hard time deciding what juice, blueberry yogurt and that OG sauce seems to be my two favorites so far, with Boss Sauce coming in third. I also want to thank cloudchemistryvapor.com for their love and support, and that they help us out on a weekly basis. And check out, again, if you go and order something from them, use the code OHM, OHM-FAM for a 20% discount on orders of $25 or more. So go give them a check out for good, clean juice, and as well as tgrvapor.com. Thank you for your love and support that you show us on a weekly basis. Same rules followed. If you order something from them, just let them know you got it from Ohm Punisher or Mr. and Mrs. Punisher, and who knows, they may hook you up and give you an extra 30 mils, 50 mil, or something like that. Who knows? So guys, Jerry Rig's pretty good too. It's an apple and grape pixie stick, real sweet juice. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you again. Much love and respect. Stay tuned to my Instagram for the giveaway for reaching 2,000 followers. Last week when Grim Green reposted my post and shouted out to me, my Instagram's been blowing up. Not for a week solid, it's been blowing up. So I appreciate that shout out from him as well. So guys, I want you to vape safe, vape strong, and vape on. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, give me a holler on Instagram. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me. And until next week, you guys vape safe, vape strong, and vape on.